Tonight, 2 storms make landfall, but the seasons aren't quite over yet. And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for November 3rd. Today in the wide world of tropics we have no less than 4 systems active, those being Hurricanes Lisa and Martin, as well as tropical depressions Nalgae and 93S. Yes, we've designated 93S as a tropical depression. This was our internal analyst team's fix. Of those 4 systems, however, Lisa and Nalgae have made landfall earlier, almost at the exact same time, would you believe it or not. So, bringing things on over to the Atlantic on day 156 of hurricane season, it's a rare sight as 2 hurricanes coexist in this part of the world in the month of November. Those hurricanes being Lisa, which made landfall in Belize a few hours ago, and Martin, which sort of unexpectedly formed and has since strengthened into a hurricane, just missing out on the record for the northernmost hurricane formed in the month of November. Also present is a rather bean-shaped area of interest in between the 2 hurricanes, which we have gone with the National Hurricane Center's estimate of a 20% chance of formation within 5 days. Once again, nothing is in the pipeline for the foreseeable future in the Eastern Pacific on day 173 of hurricane season over in this part of the world. Nalgae was the other system to make landfall today, like I said, just like a few minutes before Lisa did. Since weakened to a tropical depression, this system is not expected to last for that much longer, and nothing else is active in this basin right about now, or nothing that we've not marked down, mind you. So, bringing things over to the North Indian Ocean, quiet times still remain over in this part of the world with nothing tropical ongoing over in this basin. But bringing things down south, we find that according to our internal team's analysis, 93S has formed into a tropical depression, marking yet another tropical cyclone to add to this season's total, and it's been less than half a week since the start of the season. However, 93S is beyond the 90 degrees east point, just so theoretically it's in the Australian region, and it will continue to drift southeastwards further into this region in the coming days. So if it were to form into a tropical storm equivalent cyclone now, that would bring this region's tally to 300. The 2 previous being unnamed storms that were since found in reanalysis to actually meet the criteria for a tropical cyclone according to the Bureau of Meteorology. But bringing things over to the South Pacific, nothing is in the pipeline for this region right now, and it looks to be this way for quite some time. Bear in mind, we are less than a week, or less than half a week rather, into cyclone season for this part of the world. So, you can see Lisa making landfall on satellite imagery in Belize with quite a large influence. Martin is zooming across the open waters of the Atlantic, also as a Category 1 hurricane, likely to lose tropical status soon, and not much exists of the 20% area of interest that we are currently keeping tabs on, but I suspect it's nothing to do with that what looks to be that extratropical cyclone with a large cluster of thunderstorm activity to the left of Martin right about there. Hopefully it's nothing. But I'll personally keep a close eye on that one just to see what makes of it. Hopefully, like I said, it's nothing, but it's something to keep an eye on at least. No activity is happening over here in the Eastern Pacific. Like I said, hopefully the season is winding down, which still remains as a good thing in my book because this basin pretty much sucks. And if you were to look over to the right of your screen there, you can see Lisa making landfall as well. But bringing things over to the Western Pacific, not much is left of Nalgae after its landfall earlier, and it is not expected to last for that much longer. Elsewhere in this basin, nothing much is active in this part of the world, or nothing that we've noted down. Nalgae is dying off just over land over China, and nothing much is happening over in the North Indian Ocean as well tonight, which is sort of business as usual for this part of the world. So over in the Southwest Indian Ocean and the Australian region, 93S looks pretty much like a mess as it gains tropical depression status, according to our internal analyst team. What the officials do with the system, we can only wait with bated breath to find out. Elsewhere in this basin, nothing much is happening over in this part of the world, although if you'll see, there is some sort of, I'm not sure if it's tropical activity, but if you look just off the coast of Queensland, Australia, yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that, but it could be something to keep an eye on. But it could be anything beyond the 5-day period. So like I said, we can only wait and see to find out. Over in the Southern Pacific, once again, nothing is happening. Nothing notable is happening over here, at least tropical activity-wise, as cyclone season just started up. So it could be a good while before we see any form of tropical activity occur down in this part of the world. So, Lisa is one of 2 systems to make landfall, and according to the NHC, the rest of this hurricane's life will be spent pretty much weakening. But this system will eventually turn around as it transitions into a post-tropical cyclone. Martin has unexpectedly become a hurricane, but it won't be a tropical one for that much longer, as it is expected to turn post-tropical shortly before slowly weakening, then making a hard right turn, thus making a beeline for Scotland. Our second landfalling system is Nalgae, and according to the latest cone by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, in addition to resuming its incredibly long U-turn, it is expected to not complete it and will die off in the process before reaching Hainan. So here's a closer look at Hurricane Lisa, currently at 17.5 degrees north and 88.5 degrees west, placing it just barely over land, currently with a wind speed of 75 miles an hour and a central pressure of 990 millibars. It is expected to weaken over land and emerge off the coast of the Bay of Campeche, as this animation will slowly show you, before doing a rather swift U-turn and turning post-tropical. But that isn't depicted on this animation, that is beyond 72 hours out. On the models, Lisa is expected to be down and out, as practically all models take it down to below 34 knots, as shear is on the rise by quite a large margin. Sea surface temperatures no longer mattering, as the storm is now over land, and mid-level relative humidity remaining favourable, but not for long, as it dips below that 60% threshold in a few days' time. Martin is still on the rise despite not remaining tropical for much longer. It will eventually have to overcome a rather large amount of shear, which could hamper its efforts, but after it's overcome that, it should have no problems. But sea surface temperatures are not favourable, but by this time it should have lost its tropical status, so I'm not sure what to make of that. But mid-level relative humidity is on the rise for this system. And finally, Nalgae is done for, as it is about to encounter a large burst of shear, as that, as you will see, is briefly off the charts, but eventually it'll calm down. But sea surface temperatures also aren't favourable for the system once it re-emerges over water, and mid-level relative humidity is also too low for further development. The West Pacific remaining piping hot with 29 degree waters, with pockets of 30 degrees in and around the equatorial regions. The Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea remaining roughly around 28 degrees. The tropical Atlantic also 28, both in the Caribbean Sea, and the main development region. And the tropical Eastern and Central Pacific remaining largely 27 degrees, with a pocket of 26 degrees and 28 degrees close to the coast of Mexico. The Southern Hemisphere is also beginning to warm up as their cyclone seasons begin to start up. So the Eastern and Central Pacific remaining mostly above average, the Western Pacific as always remaining unchanged with warmer than average waters, the Atlantic pretty much above average, the Bay of Bengal also remains above average, The Arabian Sea mostly above, with isolated areas of at or below average. The La Nina is still very noticeable in the equatorial regions of the Eastern Pacific and still going incredibly strong. Oceanic heat content in the Caribbean is definitely noticeable, especially from the south of Jamaica all the way up to the island of Hispaniola, the main development region losing energy as the season begins to wind down. The Western Pacific still remaining full of energy towards the equatorial region, but as always it's tailing off the further east you go. And in the South Pacific, it's incredibly prevalent by the equatorial regions here, most notably off the coast of Papua New Guinea, or PNG as I called it last time, and extending all the way out towards and beyond Fiji. Don't forget, you can also go to our merch store where you can buy things such as individual animations, mugs, and pillows, which Nathan will proceed to throw one at me. Now, how many pillows have you thrown? Jesus, stop it! Also worth mentioning, as the incredibly silly animation plays out just there, is our line of still waiting for Hone shirts, marking over 1,000 days of waiting for one storm that clearly does not want to come out to the party, as my earbuds just died right about then. Also in line with self-promotion, Hurricane Week is coming up in 25 days, would you believe it? A week of live events, animations, and all sorts, starting November 28th for the entire week. And to top it off, our third Force for Good charity livestream will cap it all off at the end. So if you want to, you can donate during that livestream to watch us embarrass ourselves. Really, we'll play games, we'll interact with the community, and we will be basically doing stuff in response to your donations. So you can send us in some money with like a request for, say, I want Christian to dye his hair pink, although you can do that, although please don't do that because I will not be dyeing my hair any colour on the Force for Good charity livestream. On this day in 2017, the only thing active worldwide was Typhoon Nalgae, which was about to impact, I believe, Vietnam or Thailand, one of the two, as a Category 2 equivalent typhoon. As you can see, the image is right about there, imagery by Isaac, although I'm not sure who that's by. Could be, I think it's from Isaac. I'm not sure, I didn't quite check. But yeah, there we go. On this day, 2017, 5 years ago, would you believe it? Typhoon Nalgae. So that brings us to the end of this bulletin. Up next in the Atlantic's naming list is Nicole, followed by Owen. Up next in the Eastern Pacific is Seymour, followed by Tina. And we've been saying this, close to 1100 days right now. The next storm in the Central Pacific's naming list is still Hone. Up next in the Western Pacific is Yamaneko, followed by Pakar. Up next in the North Indian Ocean is Mandus, followed by Mocha. And bringing things down south, up next in the Australian region is Darian, followed by Ellie. Up next in the Southwest Indian is Chinesso, followed by Dingani. And up next in the South Pacific is Harley, followed by Irene. That's all from me for now. We'll see you for another Tropical Weather Bulletin tomorrow night.